Alright, I want to make a point here, right? We've got the Crystal Man here, yeah. Okay.
If this video has reached you right now, there's a very high possibility that you're still connected to a soul contract, soul tie.
I'm not even bothered if the system's like made this mess up and it's the smallest thing is perceivable.
Thankfully,
You need to realise that what I'm saying is where it's at. But really, the Crystal Man, I'm not even asked. The point is, just hang on a minute. like, like, the thing is, you might say that some bloke like wielding a crystal on the screen. How do you know he doesn't know what he's doing? Seriously, you think that I'm joking, but what makes you think that I'm not joking about being serious? You need to wake up to what's going on. And if I've had, like, you know, some sort of energetic healing, even if it's psychosomatic, maybe that's the point, you know? Have you ever heard of the power of the mind? I mean, wow, like, there's people that can do stuff. So we need to conduct a study. You know what I mean? We need to conduct a study on something that can't be conducted by a study. And the only way we can do that is conduct a study without conducting a study. You know what I mean? Anyway, we're watching the video.
If you're new to this channel, my name is Michael, and I
It's that, look, what makes you think that Archangel Michael isn't here? You know what I mean?
Welcome.
He's always here, look, like, he's here.
We are out.
But, you know what I mean? Like, I don't even know who he is, but I'm sure I'm looking at him. It's just something, because he keeps bringing him up. Archangel Michael will be joining us, and my name is Michael. You put two and two together, and I'm telling you, like, you know, can we zoom in the video? We've got like advanced tech here. You know what I mean? This is Archangel Mike. This is, look, I mean, how can you say that this isn't working when I can feel it working? You know, I spoke to a man the other day, and he said that seeking hidden knowledge is like the occult or something. Well, it's got the word cult in it, but I'm not in a cult. You know, what? You're in a cult because, you know what I mean? You go into church.
All of those.
You know, if you're gonna say that I'm like affiliated with a cult when I'm not, then like, you're the one in the cult here. Like, I'm not even wearing a symbol. You'll see my symbol when I have the balls to put it on. And don't be making assumptions, because assumptions send people to the brink. You know, what makes you think that I'm not the last shot you've got here? I'm not even bothered whether you believe me.
I call upon Archangel Michael and the entire
See, I told you, Archangel Michael.
through this process.
I call upon him, and I am him, so you're in luck. You know what I mean? Turn it up here. Turn up to make it something you believe in. You know you got to turn up to get the Crystal Man on. What am I doing here? I'm Cristiano Ronaldo.
The crystal I'm using in today's energy healing session is a Lemurian starseed quartz.
It's not.
This crystal
It's a rock.
holds ancient wisdom and energy.
It's got no energy in it because the man said. You know what I mean?
Old vibrations.
Well, in all seriousness, how do you know this isn't working? It is working for me. It's working for me, you know. What one man can do, another can do. So today, we're gonna watch the motherfucker. You know, you want to amount to nothing, don't you, fucking Alec Baldwin? Yeah. I'll tell you, I'm not gonna amount to nothing. I'm gonna watch the Crystal Man. Stop doing that. Well, we get the panorama, you know what I mean? Glass half full here. You know, something happens like that, then you better believe that you can just do that. You know what I mean? And if you don't believe it, you'll be in the break. You know, look at the gracefulness of his hands. He knows what he's doing here. What makes you think that he doesn't know what he's doing? All this doubt of the Crystal Man, and I'm not having it. He knows what he's doing. I want to enjoy the video, but I'm insufferable on it. You know, the running commentary will do fine. I need this man to show up and sort my energy out, and all I've got is this phone to feel his energy through, and it's still working. So, you know, you think that, like, you know, how do you know it's not working?
Best way to steal
The skeptics are turning up in the comments and they'll be decimated. They won't know how to respond to anything I'm saying. I won't even need to make sense, because why should I bother making sense to some idiot? What do I have, a self-righteous justification? What, to teach you something you won't accept? There's a cognitive dissonance? Well, what were you? How are you going to evolve if you listen? I need to make a very important point here that I can't even be arsed making. You know what I mean? Like, if you're just looking in books and learning from people that have already, like, fucking learned something that's probably, like, not even proper, then how can you hope to explore the depths of your mind and, like, you know, the ocean that's been unexplored? Well, there's nought in it, because we've not done a study. You know what I mean? We need to conduct a study on, like, the ocean, but, well, there's too much of it.
And your space.
Space, that's it. Space, the final frontier, you know what I mean? Utter chaos in the verse. You know, when people, there's a joke that I brought up a couple of years ago. And an astronaut, now listen, a bloke said I was racist for saying this, and, you know, like, I'm telling you, like, you don't, first of all, I didn't even tell the joke, and second of all, you don't know why I'm laughing at it, and third of all, like, you know, you need to think on, because this astronaut went to space, come down, and all the, you know, the religious people said, like, you know, the Western religious people who think God looks like, you know, Michael here, and sat in sky, looking after everybody with some sort of pretentious one-dimensional attitude. You know, they're saying, like, so what did you meet God? What was he like? Like, he went, she's black. So the point is it's got nothing to do with a black woman. I have the utmost respect for all races, so long as they're not fucking stupid. But the point is if he said, like, you know, to be provocative, he said that she's black because they're going to be turning the nose up, like, we're not having it as a black woman. Well, why not? What if it is a black woman? Have you ever considered that it might be? Do you know what I mean? And what, and you calling me racist for considering that it might be a black woman? Well, you need to go to the brig. You know what I mean? You'll figure it out in the brig. You know, Bart Simpson will teach you, clipping through wall. You've been a kettle.
Time being Mercury in retrograde, because a lot of past energies might be resurfacing. So this is a great time to really take a look at these energies, to acknowledge it, and to give yourself the opportunity
See, they don't
to
teach
let them
this
go.
in university. This
Your
man's actually
awareness
got some sense.
is your
He's got
biggest
some presence. He can feel the trees. And you might think in this sort of charlatan here with a crystal, what's he doing? What are you doing? You know, we better look at this Excel document and put it in the grind.
I choose awareness, and I give myself permission to look at
He
things
chooses
or
awareness, and I
energies
choose
that are no
awareness.
longer
So I can
serving
be
me,
a word.
so I
In
can
fact,
have
I've
the
got the
ability
sound of my
to
own
let them
voice.
go and to release them.
Madam, there will be an opportunity to speak at the end.
I surrender the divine flow of the universe.
Well, we don't surrender, we embrace. You know, I'll choose my own method. But you need to realise that if you're taking a load of acid, you basically are surrendering to it, because when Mike Tyson smoked the toad venom that had been pushed out its back, like, you know, you're on the ride, pal. You know, you need to take me off the ride. You can't do that when you've smoked the venom. Yeah. You're on the ride. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm gonna shut up and just like watch him because that's the point here. You need to stop listening to me and realise that the video is good, and I'm not joking. See, he's implementing the ASMR here. The joy of sound. The ephemeral riff. You know, Brad Pitt, damn, the ladies like it, but she's like, you know, Brad Pitt, wow, he can act, like, you know, 2000, really popping up. Fight Club.
Your whole entire universe has your back.
Well,
And I have your back.
You might be saying, you know, this is rubbish, but the Crystal Man is telling me, you know, very comforting things, and if you're not listening to this man here, well, he's got your back, and yeah, he's still got your back, even if you're a fucking idiot. So, you know, he's doing you a favor, and you need to appreciate it.
Assist you through this process. I am visualizing white and golden light curves beaming through.
Now, I want to make a point here, right? I want to enjoy this video, but I need to explain this is a university lecture. Now, if you think that visualizing all this stuff, like, well, is just a load of rubbish, well, like, have you ever come up with a really beautiful story? Have you ever had a visionary experience? Well, the thing is your mental power, you know, it's very powerful, hence the term. So he's visualizing this, and how do you know it's not working? In some dimension, in some way, it's working. So everything that you ever do, well, you know, Jordan Peterson said, like, it matters. So you better consider that when you're wasting your time. And, you know, I've wasted a lot of time, and I have to apply it to my own life. So I'm not talking to just you, I'm talking to me here. That's kind of how it works. And when you talk like, listen, all you people, like, you're going to hear this term a lot on, you know, both channels. Mental projection is basically a phenomenon that comes from the fact that we must look and understand reality through our own lens, and therefore through our own understanding of self. So what do you think self is? The aligned perception revolves around understanding that one may have a gift of perception that you do not. And despite the fact that you must draw understanding from your own lens, if you step out your comfort zone and expand that lens, then you become more the wiser. But if you only assume that people interact in the same way that you do, you're going to find that you're mentally projecting and you're creating skits karma, and you need to knock it off. And that also applies to intelligent people that assume that other people are intelligent when you're looking at a fucking idiot, you know. And if you're an intelligent person, you'll know what I'm saying. Like, I can be a fucking idiot as well, but the point is in case you haven't wondered, like, in case you haven't figured it out, like, I do have the capacity for a fair amount of intelligence. So the point is you must understand that if you want to express something to somebody, sometimes you have to do it the simple and concise way and not chew their ear off with a load of nonsense. Anyway, moving on.
Into your vessel.
I need to light a cig here, you know, healthy habits.
Will go exactly where they're meant to go.
I'm on the right track, baby, I was born this way. Where's that lighter? Oh, come on. I'm sick of this, and I'm sick of saying like after everything. Some sort of knackered crap in my head because I didn't like bring something up to somebody when they were being a fucking twat.
Big deep breath in.
No, I'm proud of you for talking to, Johnny. Yeah, shut up, man. You know what I mean? Look at your man, you know. Fucking hell, where is that lighter, mate? This is doing my head in there. Your entertainment.
Your energy.
It's probably like
Now, let's
gone
go.
forever. You know what I mean? Oh, it's here. This is what you do, like you jinx it. The mental tactic is why did it show up just then? Hiding in plain sight. Self-destruction is sex so long as it's contrasted with self-improvement. Unfortunately, Tyler Durden only goes for the destruction element. However, it's kind of relative because he is out there battering people and becoming fur hard. Do you know what I mean? But ultimately, Project Mayhem. I spoke to a man the other day that claimed that Jordan Peterson was deluding men to become like resentful. I can't even remember. I'm kind of like paraphrasing his argument here. Anyway, the point is like his point was that he's, just jibbing it, but he cares. Like I can see that he cares. So anybody that explores darkness and motives, and he's a fucking psychologist for crying out loud. Like you want to tell me that well, we better stay on the shallows and not consider why kids are shooting up schools? Well, you're not a good psychologist then because you're not willing to look into the dark abyss. How else are you going to solve the problem? Well, we'll not bother. Oh, fuck off, mate.
I am pulling out and removing the old soul contracts.
This is what needs to happen here. Like, sometimes you've got some sort of like crap agreement with a soul that isn't doing you any favors, and the crystal man can help us out a bit here, but ultimately, like when somebody's sort of done you in, it is your fault, but it's also their fault for being a twat. So really what needs to happen is you need to confront some sort of dragon, but fortunately I'm the dragon and you need to confront me.
Deaths that are no longer in alignment with this next cycle that you are now stepping into.
But I'm the dragon that's coming to you, and you're the fucking mouse. Dickhead. Not you, Michael, you're the best.
I recommend visualizing these energies leaving your vessel as I pull them out and remove them.
See, getting rid of some shit here. I can't hear, Crystal Man, I can't hear, I've had water trapped in me right ear. It's a terrible affliction. I feel like an old man. You need to sort it.
Inhale through your nose.
It's not like it's my problem.
Exhale through your mouth.
No, you don't want to be doing that all the time. You need to breathe out your nose, but sometimes breathing out your mouth is like, a stress relieving. You do it all day, you might look like a fly. So keep that in mind. And if you don't believe me, then you need to go and look at the main channel and consider that like I couldn't breathe through my nose because of the the poison that they were putting in me. It had some sort of effect that they wouldn't accept. Now, whether it was the poison or just some sort of synchronicity, the point is I've been able to come back from it and not look as quite as knackered. So you better take that into account when you give up. You know what I mean? You know, if you ever watch Rick and Morty, right? There's a Buddhist statement. You know, eat when you're hungry, sleep when you're tired. This sort of nonsense, like, you know, 8 hours, 7.5 hours of sleep. Like, they're not even being specific. Like, it's 7.5 because of the fucking rhythms of, like, you know, sleep cycles in terms of general regulation. And you could argue that Nikola Tesla was sleeping an hour a night, like, to you know, because he needed to be productive, but he was an energetic genius. So what makes you think that, like, you know, you can't just have less sleep one night and put the grind in? Because, like, you know, I'm pretty sure he knew what he was doing, but maybe he took it a bit too far because he looked like a skeleton when he was older. And he did fall in love with a pigeon, and you can look down on him for it, but, you know, do you look at like an ant and think like, whoa, what a beautiful creature? Half of you were standing on him. You fucking fiends. Anyway, I don't know what the original point I was going to make here is, but the point is this man's beard's off the charts. Look, he's happy about it. Fucking mosquitoes, mate. Fuck off. I'll tell you what, they fucking do my head in there. Bogdan level 2.
Transmuting any of these energies.
You fucking, why you go and suck your own blood, you piece of shit. The greedy bastard sucks so much blood half the time the fucking abdomen bursts. That's all you need to know. You know, they're carrying around malaria. You know how many people have died from malaria? It's more than the Kalashnikov have, like, you know, took the credit for. And that's saying something. You know, but the only thing that's killed more people than that is, like, you know, the thing about furniture killing machines. Board your windows up. The phone is bad for your health. And wear a straight jacket so you can jib yourself. You know, you can, right, look, people call me mad, like, how much sense am I making in this video? Like, you know, I can go on all day saying stuff like this. You can't tell me I'm wrong, you know, because I'm clearly not. If you don't, if you don't accept that I'm making sense, then you don't know what sense is. So you better go to university. No, Mike Mew and John, God rest his soul, John Mew, you know, they put it, we're going to put you all out of business, orthodontists. So, like, whatever you do, you know, you'll end up in a kettle if you fucking don't realize that you need to evolve to the better perception of the relationship between muscles and bones, and realize that putting somebody's maxilla back, well, you'll end up in the brig, because you're making somebody's life and health worse due to a lack of understanding. And when presented with something that's expansive and truthful, your cognitive dissonance or greed to perpetuate your own fucking gratifying sense of, like, bullshit then, you will be in the brig. Listen, this idea of brig, what it is a karmic realm that is designed to teach you a lesson. You all think that it's about eternal suffering, and look, you can call me the devil. It's what makes you think that? Like, look at this here. Like, there'll be no further discussion. Like, what the stuff like observing, and it doesn't mean you're being watched or stalked by the universe, but at the end of the day, like, everything is aware of what you're doing. So if you're up to no good. I hate to break it to you, but somebody knows about it. And you can say, well, it was your fault. Your boy. What you don't realize about hell is it's actually worse than they say, because it's designed around your own fucking nature and psychology. So it's self-torment designed by your own mind that is karmically there, not only to make sure that it's fair, but to make sure that you learn. And if you don't, simply you will be possessed as a husk and put into a situation that is tantamount to what the woman does, like in the Get Out film. So if you think that that's a load of fun, then you better crack on with it, whatever the fuck it is that you're doing that's a load of rubbish. And don't act like I'm not doing you a favour here, because I'm warning you. Like, seriously, it's got nothing, like, it's not even about me. Like, you understand? Like, you're in charge of your own life here, right? You want to make a good decision? Well, fucking make a good decision then. If you make a bad one, at least be honest about it and don't be backpedaling about a load of crap. Like, what am I doing here? Like, we'd be better off doing an ab workout, but I'm making this video because I need a minute and I like chatting shit. You know what I mean? Like, what am I going to... Like, I've put the effort in today. We've been to the boxing lesson. No, I'm going to shut up for a minute here. We're about to hit the 30-minute mark, but, we're not done here. We're going to continue until we don't have any memory left or something. But, the point is really just open your mind to what's happening here and feel the peace of the man and his presence and the fact that he really wants to do you a favour here. He also wants to grow his channel and sustain his own well-being. But what makes you think that he doesn't actually want to do you a favour? Pessimist, cynical rubbish. Like, this man's doing us a favour here. So you better believe that he's doing a good job. You know what I mean? You need to realise that, it's going to work through the phone. And if you don't think it's going to work through the phone, then it won't work through the phone, will it? Genius. So breathe, relax. Forget about all that nonsense that I've just said to you, your subconscious has absorbed it. Fuck off, mosquito. It's a good thing they make an annoying sound, otherwise they'd be too covert. That's for horseflies, they'd be like off their head, like razor head maniacs. You think this place is all fun and games. You zoom into a flea and look at its physiology and tell me it's not a bit knackered. Why does that exist? Well, it's probably because we're like there's animals tearing each other apart and stuff that'll decay you and evil people knocking about, and just because somebody says that somebody's a devil because they're out here supposedly causing trouble, how do you know that the trouble doesn't already exist? I mean, look, in Harry Potter, those three, the amount of trouble they're causing. But if they weren't causing the trouble, like if they weren't breaking the rules, if they weren't pushing the boat out, like they'd all be knackered. That snake would have killed everybody or something. The school would be shot and they'd all be knackered. But it's a good thing Harry Potter and the team are on the case, isn't it? Anyway, the devil. You know what I mean? See, if Harry Potter had horns for some sort of reason, he's here to headbutt life, they'd just say, well, here's Satan. You know what I mean? The Christians would turn up and say, you need to be good of the brig. Yeah, but you don't realise that he's here to save the day. Fucking idiots. And so what Voldemort's possessing him half the time? Do you not believe in him? You need to have some faith that he can think about the good times he's had with his friends. You're going to tell me that Harry Potter's not a good character, when he's appreciating Dobby's sacrifice? It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, and I'm not even joking. The happy little elf I'm getting shivers thinking about it. He knows he's dying, and I'm happy to be here with my friends. There is nothing more beautiful that has ever come out of any character's mouth in the last moments of their existence than Dobby. So if you're not upset, then you can fuck off. So... And Harry Potter, right? He's always putting his fucking life on the line for all these idiot twats in that fucking school that are still giving him rubbish after he fucking goes, you know what he does? You've seen the films, he confronts danger time and time again, and somebody's gonna, you've been up to something. Fuck off, mate. You have to get deeper into the sleeping bag to make sure the mosquitoes can't win. Because I can't even be bothered, swatting them away at this point. Luckily, I'm going to get some data and not be able to, not look at the shit device. So, I've made the decision that we're going to make the sacrifice to resist the desire to look at the device instead of not giving myself the option. Because if you put in, safeguards in place and cutting the corners off things, then what makes you think that they won't just, be corners eventually and you won't know how to not hit your head on them? So any parents that are, you can't go out because there's cars and stuff like that. You need to realise that you're not doing them a favour and they might get torn apart by a predator. And then you might get all resentful and say, well, why is it all, too hard? Why are you here? You ever considered that? Why are you here? Is it because you decided? And if you didn't decide to come here, then you're fucking here for the people that did decide. So you better shape up. And anybody who's going down a well-trodden path and telling somebody who's actually asking worthwhile questions and like going forth into the unknown and facing up to things and losing their mind in the process and then getting it back and then fucking coming in and rubbing it in your knobhead face, then you better realise that you know, a man chooses and a slave obeys. Which one are you? Fucking status man. You won't have any status when the fucking status quo's been evolved. And then you'll be dancing to the new tune, but you're just Mr. Trendy, you know what I mean? Trendy, we'll follow the trend. Look, I've got the chinos on, part of the team here. Fucking think for yourself. You know, if you're going to be a twat like me and post yourself eating a Weatherspoons dinner, you might as well have something fucking good to say. You know what I mean? You can't say I'm not saying something good, and if you're saying that I'm not saying something good, you need to watch the video again and give me more views. So I can feel good about the numbers. No, we're really popping off here. We got 22 views or something. But
allow the high vibrations to fill you up.
I can't be bothered going to sleep tonight. You know, this is the point I was going to make. Like, you know, sometimes you just want to sleep for 16 hours and then stay awake for about 40. And then just, like, have a bit of consistency. Like, you know, if you're at war or doing something or you really need to get some work done, like, well, you need to stay awake then. Like, 'cause if you go to sleep, like, you're going to have to, like, wake up and get the momentum. You've sabotaged it. You're not willing to make the sacrifice. I mean, what's more important here, like momentum? You do realise that taking care of your health is kind of relative sometimes. And on Rick and Morty, Rick says, like, you know, Jerry, you do realise that, you know, how much time are you wasting just sitting there, lying there and dreaming about the brick? I've got to say, Crystal, man, you've got some of the drip on, you know what I mean? Some people are wearing Supreme, and I'd say that... Fucking mosquitoes! I'd say that, you know, the fucking mosquitoes need to be eradicated. But, like, you know, that pattern on your drip, like, well, it's off the charts. Not as good as your beard, though. I'd say that this man's outdone Jesus. Maybe not, but what makes you think that it's even a competition? Like, this is, you know, Michael's pulling it off here. Like, what were you comparing him to people? You know what I mean? I mean, like, look, you might think that Barry Tickle's not as good as the Wigan Joker, but you better consider that, like, you know, the Wigan Joker's telling him to jump off a load of flats. How do you know that Barry Tickle's not better? I think that he is. Barry Tickler. There are no rules in the Mortar Town. Wow, really feeling it on the third eye here. You can tell he's doing his job. Bit of ASMR for you, a bit of sprinkle of some dinkle. You're sorted. You know, I feel better after watching this video, even though I've got an insufferable commentary. But the thing is, how do you know it's not working? You know, they're going to tell me to buy, like, you know, a rib witch or something on the billboards. We better put this on the ads. In between, like, you know, come dine with me. We'll have to watch this. And when you get in the kettle, like, you know, the boiling water might not come on until, like, you've been given an ample opportunity to realise that you're fucking stupid. And then you might just leave, like, you know, everybody that's not rubbish, like, here's a door for you to go through.
Protecting high vibrations, light, and love.
Anyway, you know, Jimmy Savile and rest of them, you know, the kettle's the jib, like, it's going to get it worse.
White and golden, luminous and light. May this light completely surround your being and aura.
You know, whenever you've overcome a serious obstacle in your life, you better believe that the concept of aura is real. Because if you're paying attention, then people are paying attention to you when you've, like, overcome something. Anyway, no further elaboration.
Your energy has now been cleared from any soul contracts, karmic debts, soul ties that are no longer in alignment with you or your highest good. And so it is.
See, it's worked. Like, you can't tell me that it hasn't. Now, you know, or to see what you can do. Anyway, like, to wrap this up here, you know, get even. Get even. Get even. No, I was supposed to click that then. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. If you're wondering why the quality of these videos is crap, it's because I can't be bothered editing them, and I keep forgetting to change the settings, and the automated fucking system, it doesn't even change it from, like, you know, it's supposed to be adaptive. It just keeps it the same. So, you know, I could, you know, fuck this app off, like, you know, that screen recorder, but I can't even be bothered. If, like, you know, if you want to watch these videos, it's not even like you know, I need to push the boat out with the visual stimulus. You need to listen.